ordained speaker meeting, and there was some guy at the podium talking about, I don't know, I wasn't listening. But we sat through the meeting, and I can tell you that at the end of the meeting, 2,000 alcoholics held hands and said the Lord's Prayer. And I had my first spiritual experience in those rooms. You know what it's like when you took that shot of whiskey and your whole body just shudders, and it's like, for about 15 seconds and it calmed down? That's what it was like. And for myself, that's a feeling I carry with me. And every time I go to a convention or a large meeting, I can close my eyes and I can remember what it was like 18 years ago. And one thing, it's like I have a friend, for some reason my emotions run wild sometimes around my birthday. Can't control them. You know what? 18 years of sobriety, I don't have to anymore. Now at this point, I'm still not an addict or alcoholic, but I had my first spiritual experience that I didn't know at that time. Now I went back to this detox, and I'm spiritually fit. Not a drug addict or an alcoholic. Still not paying attention. On the 17th day of my sobriety, I was sitting in a day room. In a day room, you could see out this window down the hall where the imaginary red line was. Well, if you crossed the red line, you were out of bounds. They were going to throw you out of there, and I had no need to go crossing or anything like that. But I was looking down the hallway, and a friend of mine, whose name was Brian, came walking down that hall. Now, Brian was one of my main customers. See, I had Brian's gold watches, and I had Brian's gold chains, and I had his wedding ring. He was an addict. He was a very sick individual that, thank God, he finally made it into these rooms because he needs this program. This is going on inside my mind. Now, at the same time as this is going on in my mind, how, thank God, Brian made it in these rooms, I looked down and I read my wristband. And it reads Tarzana Psychiatric Hospital. And I worked the first part of the first step to my innermost self, and I admitted that I had this disease. 17 days into a detox, I finally admitted that I was an alcoholic and an addict and I had this disease. Now I can tell you that, thank God it was there for those 17 days. I picture that like the elevator ride that some of us, when we're able to get in these rooms, we come in here, we get in the elevator, and the elevator just keeps going up and up and up, and it's that pink cloud, and everything's great, and things are starting coming into play, and my senses are opening, and I'm starting to experience life, and on that 17th day, that elevator stopped, and the doors opened, and I looked out, and someone pushed me from behind, and I fell and I crashed. 17 days of my recovery. Thank God I was in a detox unit. Thank God I wasn't out on the streets. Thank God I didn't make a decision like I wanted to because I was cured and ready to go home after 3 days, sitting in my living room watching TV when I crashed like that, because I can guarantee you the phone, I'd have picked up that phone, and I can tell you who I'd have called. His name's Chris. His number is 499-6904. And that's his number. It's burned in my mind. Okay? I can still tell it to you 18 years later. By the way, he doesn't live there anymore. He moved. That's still his phone number. After that 17th day, I started paying attention. Okay, this is a detox unit. They'd have a panel come in every night. And every night these panels would come in and they would talk about recovery. They would talk about things you can do in your recovery to help promote, your life. They would talk about 3 common things. They would talk about going to 90 meetings in 90 days. They would talk about getting a sponsor, someone who can help guide you through the program. And they would talk about finding a power greater than yourself that you can call God. Now, I started talking to some of these clients in this detox more on a one-to-one basis and found out that, wait a minute, these guys, some of these people went back to the same detox for their second or third time. I told myself I was going to bring it this evening, but it's sitting on my dresser at home. I wanted to bring my $10,000 big book, because that's what I got when I left there, was a big book. It cost about $10,000 for that big book. See, these people were using this program as a revolving door, and I was thinking to myself, it doesn't work? Well, I found out that those people are using the revolving door, but they quit going to meetings, didn't have a sponsor, lost or never had that conscious contact with God. Now, I decided that when I was in there that I was going to go to those 90 meetings in 90 days they suggested. I was going to find a sponsor, someone I can trust and talk to and tell them anything, no matter how silly or stupid. And I was going to hold on to that power I found on that 13th day of my sobriety as my conscious contact with God. And so I told you that I might have dealt drugs prior to getting here. Okay. Now, when I checked into this detox, I still had a good business going. I had a sister and a roommate who took care of my business when I was in detox. Now, I made a decision in this detox unit to not go home and sell drugs because they asked me, what am I going to do when I go home? And I was honest and told them, I'm just going to go home and sell drugs. I'm just not going to use. They convinced me into not doing that, and I made a commitment to a group that I would not go home and do that. And so after I made the commitment to the group, I went back into our dorm unit, and I picked up the phone. I called the house, and I told them I'm coming home in about a week, and we're not going to be doing any more, I'm not going to deal any drugs anymore, so you guys have to clean out the house, and we're going to start living this new way of life. And they said, no. And I said, okay, no problem. Now, I've been in this detox unit for almost 4 weeks, okay, and they've been taking care of my business for me while I've been gone, and they told me it was going to be okay, they were going to stop, and they had no intentions of ever stopping. When I left detox on my 32nd day of my recovery, I went home to a full-blown crack house. Full-blown. Now, my sobriety date is still January 23rd, 1989, okay? I did not find it necessary to pick up and use. Okay? Can't say I didn't want to, but I did not find it necessary. Somewhere around the 60th day of my sobriety, I think it was like the 62nd day or 64th day, I'm not real positive. Well, by the way, it's like, that employer that fired me? When I was in that detox, I was able to call him, okay, and let him know where I was and what was going on in my life. And he said he's really proud that I, made the admission that I had a problem with drugs and alcohol. I didn't think they knew. You're right, they didn't know. They knew all along. And he told me if I wanted my job back, I could have it, as long as I stay clean and sober. So when I got out of detox, I had a job that I was very familiar with all the people, and it was good pay and all that good stuff, and I had a place to live. It was a crack house, and I was at meetings I was going to on a regular basis. Now, somewhere around the 64th day, if I took out a calendar and figured it out exactly, I could tell you, but it's somewhere around my 60th day. It was Friday night. Okay, I can tell you it was Friday night because it was very important that I get to my Friday night meeting on time to pick up my 60-day chip. Okay? Because they give those out first. Beginning of the meeting. You don't want to be late. You won't get your chip. Well, when I pulled up in the driveway, and I stopped, it was a long driveway, and I stopped at the bottom of the driveway to get the mail out of the mailbox. And I'm getting the mail out of the mailbox, and here comes a couple of guys walking down the driveway. Now, you got to realize that when I went into this detox, I had maybe about 20 associates I was dealing with that kept me well in my stash. When I went in there, my sister and my roommate decided they were going to expand the business a little bit. So they were expanding in a sense. And so these people come walking down the driveway, and my head says, who the hell is my sister dealing with now? I am tired of meeting new people. Okay? I am tired of this. And they got about 10 feet from me and asked for my identification. Guess they weren't there to buy. The house was getting busted. They handcuffed me, took me and, they handcuffed me and my cheeseburgers because I just came from McDonald's. Okay, and I was sitting in my living room, handcuffed. I'm sitting on the sofa with my cheeseburgers in front of me. I got two thoughts going through my mind. You guys got to hurry up. I've got a meeting to go to. Second thought was, you guys got to hurry up. My cheeseburgers are getting cold. Those are only two thoughts in my mind. My food and my meeting. See, now before I got there, they broke down the front door of the house. They arrested my roommate who was there. They put him to the ground they put his head to the ground with a shotgun. Told him if he moved, they were going to blow his head off. They arrested my sister about a block and a half away from the house with over an ounce and a half of cocaine in her purse. I didn't care about these people. All I wanted to go to my meeting and eat my cheeseburgers. Very self-centered. Very egotistical. I wasn't recovering at that point. So, and I can't tell you, I don't know if any of you have ever been in a place where it's been busted. Most of the time I heard that everybody goes to jail. They take everybody. They take the moms, the dads, the kids. For some reason, I was able to go to that meeting Friday night. I can't tell you why. Can't tell you why. The landlord of the house that I was renting decided they didn't want me living there anymore. The bus was in the paper. The house was actually owned by the county. It was a county house. So I got evicted. And so I had to make a decision. You know, the decision was to move on with my life. You know, and I moved in, you know, to one place, another place, and you know, eventually what happened was I was looking for a place to live, and my sister was getting involved with, you know, with someone in the program, and he had a condo. Him and his sister had a condo. They had an extra room to rent, and I rented the room. And he told me that he's got this bowling league that he's involved in. I should join, you know, and I should get involved, you know. And you know, here I am. Pretty much, I've got about, you know, I was coming to I got about 10, 11 months, and I'm on my pity pot, and it's like, you know, poor me. This isn't working. You know, life sucks. This recovery stuff's with birds. I'm going to 7, 8 meetings a week. You know, I have a job, but it's like I'm just kind of walking like a drone. You know, and at this point, they started getting me involved in doing something. They started getting involved in doing something. You know, and then I decided that, you know, that girl, she's kind of cute. They asked my brother-in-law about her, and you know, he gives me the lowdown, and I said, oh, maybe if he liquors her up enough, she'll go out with me. You know. Because she was still drinking at that point. You know, so sometimes alcohol's in our favor. You know. Sometimes. You know, and you know, things. You know, she told you that, you know, when I asked her out, and like, you didn't tell him about the shirt I was wearing. It was a great shirt. I love that shirt. I wish I still had it. You know, the big T-shirt with all these ripped, torn marks with brown spots that says "Who farted" on it. Man, that was a great shirt. That was a great shirt. I wonder what happened to that shirt. You know, and we started going out. We started dating. We started doing things, and I was in recovery. And a lot of the stuff that I was doing was recovery-based. You know, we're going to conventions and dances and, you know, and all that stuff. And I came from a larger area, so like where I was, for my early sobriety, there are seven areas within 50 miles. Within 50 miles, there's like 7 areas. So every weekend, you could be going to a dance or a convention or something that was going on in recovery. You know, and it was great for me because we would get out and, you know, go dancing and stuff. You know, when you're young, it's great. When you're young, it's great, you know. You know, and you know, in a sense, I guess we fell in love. You know, and it wasn't, you know, it was different. You know, it was different. It was different than all the experiences I'd had before. You know, I didn't have to buy her. You know, she didn't come from someone bringing her over. You know, it was different. You know, and we started actually dating. You know, and we dated for a while, and you know, I got involved in her life, and she got involved in my life. You know, she talks about that. You know, she started going to Al-Anon. It was a Sunday night meeting. Sunday night it was at a church. In one room there was an AA meeting, and the room right down the hall was an Al-Anon meeting. So we both show up. We both go to our meetings, and afterwards we meet up again. You know, it was living the life. You know, there are times in the things that we have done together that most people would never have done. You know, because of the fact of how we're, you know, in a sense, where we are in recovery. You know, we went to a convention out in Arizona. You know, and we went on a trip to the Red Rocks. You know, we're walking around the Red Rocks, and we went and looked in this Kincaid gallery. You know, because she walked in there and she saw this painting and she really liked it. You know, she really liked it. So, you know, me, you know, I'm a good addict and alcoholic, and so before we left, I grabbed the card. You know, when we got home, I made arrangements to have one of the paintings that she liked. I bought it and I had it shipped to me for our anniversary because I listened.